everyone. My name is Audrey Lane. I am the co-director of the Days of the Dead Film Festival. And we have the It Lurks block, and we have Karl with, actually, I'm doing the intro for you. So I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourself, and then we're gonna take a question right here, so she doesn't forget. I don't know if you're like me, I will forget it in 2 seconds. So if you guys can introduce yourselves and tell us about your project.
Hey, I'm Karl Redgen. I'm the writer and director and producer for Closed Circuit. I'm from Australia, but just moved to the States, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
I'm Julie Selander from No Grave Films with my husband Jordan, and we were with Scarlett Shoes. What else am I supposed to say? Oh, I acted, produced, and co-wrote.
I'm Jordan, also Selander, and I was part of No Grave Films and did the Scarlett Shoes.
Hi, I'm Tendayi Nyeke. I wrote, directed, co-produced Burns and Song, which was the last one. I'm from Zimbabwe. I live in LA, and I went to uni in Australia, right? I was in Brisbane.
Oh, cool. Which uni?
I was at Queensland College of Arts.
Oh, nice.
So it was nice to hear some Aussie accent.
Yeah. And I see that you've got a little bit of an Aussie
I can
accent.
put it on occasionally.
It's like it's a good blend.
It's terrible, it's terrible.
So we're gonna start here, Miss, with your question.
Okay.
Yeah, for the Scarlett Shoes, what was it like getting your head bashed?
Oh yeah, that was fun. It was very uncomfortable just sitting in the tub, but like having to like bang my head around. I've actually put a piece of foam that had, you know, like with like the air conditioners that you like stick onto your window. It literally was one of those that like stuck to my head, and I put that while I was like flailing. So yeah, so it was somewhat protected. I did have a couple bruises in the morning though, that's for sure.
Anyone else have a question? Jake?
Yeah, I have questions for all the filmmakers, so you can always come back to me, but I'll start with Karl.
Yeah.
You delivered always with visual effects and practical effects in this one, but I'm going to segue into asking you about the dog, because there's
Sure.
always that unspoken rule, like it's tough to work with children and animals. How was your dog on set?
She was great. So the dog's name is Arrow, and she was like 18 months old. But I hired a company that does actors that are animals, and which is pretty cool. And so she didn't even notice the camera was there. But some of the parts were really hard. So when the dog comes back into the room and supposed to be like on top of the actor, that was really challenging to get her to like stay on. Like we put peanut butter on his chest, and because we kept locking the door, she thought we were locking her inside, and she started like freaking out and refused to come in. But at the end, the scene where she's lying on the ground where the dog is like shaking, she's doing that for real. Because she'd been on set for so long, she was so tired. And the handler was like, oh, do you want me to get her up? I'm like, no. Like, you want to feel the heartbreak. You want to feel like she's suffering. And we just happened to get this great shot of the dog like literally like whimpering and crying. And I was like, that's acting right there.
Did you want to keep going, or do you want to?
For Jordan and Julie, your leads, mannerisms, and the ballet and the dance were all amazing. I'm sure. Is she, I guess, small part. Is she a contortionist?
Yeah, she's like a contortionist, gymnast. She can do everything. She also did the makeup in the tub. So like, yeah, she's like a jack of all trades. She's amazing.
The follow-up was, it was the perfect blend of like comedic but also scary movements, and then it progressively got scarier as it went. But even before you met your demise, when you guys were heading to your apartment, were you guys just kind of letting her play and just moving the way she felt that she was, or was that kind of like in pre-production, let's figure out how you're going to step and do things?
I did like a guided choreography, but because she's also a dancer, we're obviously all dancers. I just kind of told her what I thought it should go, like how I thought it should go, and she was able to kind of do it on her own and kind of play with it a little bit. So it was kind of like half and half. Like I kind of choreographed it, and like, you know, just like the little pieces where she's stepping back out after she kills me, like we choreographed that together basically. So it was fun. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, they go down.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I don't know if I.
Tenda, I did say my name.
He didn't want to mess it up just like I did. I was listening.
Tendayi. It's actually, don't overthink it, Tendayi.
Tendayi.
Yes, number 10 die, like Days of the Dead die.
Nice, I like that.
Did you, you said you're from Zimbabwe,
Yes.
but currently live, did you film in Zimbabwe?
No, we filmed in South Africa. I wanted to film in Zimbabwe because it's this kind of haunting feeling, that figure that appears. There's a myth in my culture around a vengeance, a spirit of vengeance, where a sin that has been committed, a sin, or a crime that has been committed by an ancestor will continue to haunt you until your family line deals with it. So I wanted to shoot in Zimbabwe, but shooting in Zimbabwe is really hard.
Yes.
So I shot in South Africa and just asked them to throw in language stuff that was from home. On the effects side, I was really sad because we shot that last and we ran out of time. And there was so much more I wanted to do, but we just ran out of time. So I'm just like gushing at your effects, and I'm like, it's so great. And I'm actually curious how long that took you, if I can ask you a question.
Absolutely.
I like the segue going into, effects is usually a question that will come up. So I actually have an effects team. They're based in Chiang Mai, Thailand. So I was here last year with another film that was very, very effects heavy. So I had the same team come on board. And so basically, we did a lot of the effects in pre-production. So I learned that from my last film's mistake. But after we shot the film, I went to Chiang Mai and went to the studio. But it's got about 5-6 artists on it, rotoscopers. So really the main effects was the security camera monitors. So all those monitors I found in a thrift store, and none of them worked. So we just layered that screen, which kind of looks invisible, which is nice. And then the hell sequence was the hardest, and then the dog kind of transforming into the beast. So I'd say all up, the effects probably took like 10 full days. Like, I'm not the visual effects supervisor, so I don't know, but it's a whole studio, and they have a whole team of people that do it. That's why in the credits it has like 7 Thai people coming up. So it's always pretty good, and it's nice to have a kind of team, and when they're not in America or Australia, it does tend to be a little bit cheaper.
So Tendayi, we've been waiting like so long to ask you questions about Burns and Song. We've talked about you several times during our team meetings, a lot. So though it wasn't titled as such, this is a teleplay, this is a pilot. So we are so curious where the story is going, and are you in the process of trying to develop it into a full series?
Oh, did I expose my? Well, thank you for choosing me, because it really was a pilot. And I'm like,
You're very welcome.
I was just like, I'm gonna try my luck, because thematically the festival's great for what I'm trying to do. So thank you. Yeah, so it is a pilot. It's a 9-episode limited series. I've got a whole series Bible for it. And the goal was to travel around the world and see how people respond to a very African story, and then try and find partnerships to make the thing, And the industry right now is just weird and hot. I don't know if you guys are feeling it too, but I want to own the IP as much as I can, so that's why I went and did a proof of concept. But yeah, so it goes somewhere. I know exactly how it ends. Each of those people you met have a storyline, and they're all interconnected somehow. And yeah, so there's more.
It did feel like a bigger picture. Like I thought when we were watching it, I was like, oh, is this a feature? Like, because I thought we all had shorts. I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
You're like, okay, I'm gonna settle in, and
I was like, yeah, I'm
ready.
gonna watch. I was like, looked at my watch, like, oh, this goes to 5. Like, and I wanted to just ask on the story and the world building. So that like the rioting part, that's like a bigger picture of the world and the state of affairs of the country.
Yes.
Yeah, sweet.
So I'm glad that you are doing that.
Just to build on that, because you kind of took my question.
I'm so sorry.
So we've talked about it a lot. I absolutely, I love the story so far. The characters you have built, absolutely love with them.
Thank you.
And it kind of reminds me of a 90s series, American Gothic.
Okay.
As far as how the characters are kind of set up in my head, where I see it heading. So I'm very excited to see if it gets made, so I can see
I
the
hope
rest
so.
of it.
I'm working on it.
And that's one of the things that's great about coming to these type of events, because I will literally tell you, and Jake can attest to this because he's been with us for 4 different shows now, that when you meet people here, the likelihood of you collaborating, and even if it's just bouncing ideas off of each other or saying, hey, I need an effects person. Hey, who do you know? Who can, and this is why we do this. We love to show the films, and we love to, I think you're our first pilot, or is this our first pilot? I think second, I can't remember. We see a lot of films, but we literally have been so engaged with the story because we're like, what the fuck, what's next? We need more, we need more. Is it more? Then I like spent like 2 hours like researching and Googling and was like, what else is going on? Are there any teasers on here? What can I find out? Has she posted anything? So no, really, if that is the goal, you said 9 episodes?
9, yeah.
Like, we want to know the story, we want to see it get made, so let's talk and see, you know, what, you know, we can connect together and try to, I don't know.
Would love that.
We're excited.
And as I mentioned in the Q&A with Angie yesterday, you can, with the networking we do here, you can always reach out to people like, hey, do you know someone? Do you, like, people reach out to me and say, who are your visual effects team? Can I use them for my project? So you expand your network. Yes, you meet people here and you say, hey, and you become friends, but then you can kind of use their resources as well, I think, is always really helpful.
Do you have any more? Oh, Jake?
Back to Tendayi.
I like the
So you have this film being set in Zimbabwe, beautiful language, beautiful accents, beautiful music. How hard was the decision to, you know, put it primarily in English? I'm not sure what the native tongue is there, but how hard was the decision to put it in English versus whatever the native tongue is?
We are multilingual, so that's actually how we communicate. We mix languages all the time. So like, you know, if you go to Spain, yeah, you know, there's places you go around the world where people are just kind of interchanging. So that's how, South Africa speaks 9 official languages. And so there's a Soweto where Nelson Mandela actually grew up. You can go there, people are like swapping languages, or you meet someone from this tribe and you start speaking. So it's actually a representation of the way language is spoken.
Will that be a focal point in the series, that there are all these backstories, so there will be multiple languages?
A little. I think it'll just happen organic as you meet the characters. You'll just hear it, but I'm not pointing at it. It's just kind of putting a camera at the reality, and then if you're curious, you know. But literally, that's what South Africa is like. It's just really diverse. Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, so then okay, I thought I missed someone. So I'll go back to you guys. How much did you have to rehearse to get those dance sequences that we saw?
So it actually was kind of crazy. We, the girls, they learned it in 2-hour little dance session, literally the day before we shot it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Including your dance stuff as well?
So, yes.
Do we have a question right here? I thought I heard a question.
You have the dancers here.
Oh, nice.
Ah, very good.
What did you two
That's
think
why
of
they're
all
here,
that
obviously.
moving and contorting?
I liked it.
Nice.
It's kind of dark.
Would you add that kind of dance into your routines?
Yeah.
I like it.
But I never put the Q&A on you now.
I know.
Yeah, it's like, yes.
I was telling them, I was like, that's you and Savannah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Black girl, black girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
Friendships
danced
are born.
together, yeah.
Exactly.
And then, you know, it turned.
Yeah, it turned dark.
Maybe that's not you, Ruth.
So are you a professional dancer, Julie?
I was, yes.
No, okay. So you can do everything as well. You're a
I
master of all
can,
trades.
I can.
It was very believable, you know, especially like when it was like, okay, everyone's kind of dancing in sync, and then when her character just kind of breaks out and just starts going, and it's like, okay, what's about to happen? Or she's just gonna show them up, and then people are gonna get mad. It's like we didn't know where it was going, and then it was like dun 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 bam. And the best part of watching this is we've seen it multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
So as I'm sitting back there, and I'm just like, and I'm like pointing at the 3 people that jumped through, because you're like so engaged in it. So I like that, just like that quick boom, and then you're like, okay, what's gonna happen? So I think that first kick was so effective, like, and it just set the tone of, this may get dark, it may get ugly. We don't know. We didn't know how ugly it was going to get. And that was pretty brutal.
This one was actually mostly Jules' idea. I just want to throw that out there. The vampire one, I think, originated in my brain,
Yes,
and
yes.
then No Grave also. And then this one, I came home, she's like, I have a movie idea. I got to like scrap of paper, with like different ideas on
It
it.
was totally
I'm like, I
garbled.
think I can do something with it. It was originally only gonna be the 2 dancers, and then like, I think Casey wanted to
Extend
dance in
your
it.
role, yeah.
So we had to go back and rewrite it. We had to beat the strike, so that was happening. Like, you know, do you remember that? So a lot of it was just kind of like shooting from the hip this time. Like we were exhausted from the vampire movie, but we were like, well, I guess we got to do it now. So like, you know, we
Let's
gotta,
make another one.
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
get some pennies together and let's go. So
So,
yeah, but it did start in her brain. So like this one's
nice.
like
This-
Jules' expression.
And I like it, and I like it was something close to the heart already anyway with your history of dancing, which was really cool. You go with what you know and you can do that and make it so believable, and everything with films are believability. One thing I really like about, since this is your second time back, you are so heavily special effects and digital effects, and they all blend so well.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever quite seen a transformation like that, but it was so gnarly as it's coming out, and then it's just
And the
when it
sound
just,
design where all the bones are
yeah,
cracking.
I love that, and I'm just like, oh, and then with the dog whimpering, I was like, oh, but it was so, again, effective and believable that this is what's happening, and I don't know if you can tell us, I don't know what the future of this film, if it's gonna be set up for a feature or anything, but did he die? When he opened the door, was he like escaping, or was it all in his head? I mean, you're kind of messing with us, and I don't like it.
I was hoping this question would come up. I watched this at a few film festivals now, and I've come to the conclusion that it's purgatory. So it's kind of is a nightmare sequence, but when he goes through the door, the idea is he's meant to go back to the beginning and start the day again.
And he's still at work. That is bullshit.
That's why I wrote it. So just like my last film, if anyone saw Outer Reaches, I always have the theme of capitalism is evil. So the real villain here is the work.
It's money.
And that's why in the beginning when he gets the bag and it's like, what's this? He goes, it's from the overlords upstairs. And it's like, thanks, you got me a notebook and a pen. You guys suck.
You expect me to work in purgatory too? Damn.
Yeah, so the idea of the plot is it's sort of meant to be open-ended. Some people have said that it's like in his head and he fell asleep and maybe he's going through some stuff. And that's why it kind of jumps like that, because it's supposed to feel like a dream. You're never not meant to know what's really happening. And the character as well kind of goes through those motions. But as I've now watched it and sort of you can see it again. So if you watch it a second time, if anyone wants to watch it again, like I'll send it to you. But the idea is it pays off for multiple viewings. And I feel if you guys are watching your films multiple times and you're going through all the judging process, you probably go the second time going, oh, right. Like even things like the production design, like the mug says work like a dog.
Yeah. It's like you had a lot of little small things of symbolism in there that, if you're watching, like you say, and you're catching it, you're like, oh. Okay,
Even the production design, even the on the video screen, it's like, symbiosis and work together as a team. And then when he comes back from hell, it's like, I'm cursed, and it's like the CEO is now like giving his soul to the devil and stuff like that. So it's like multiple viewings really pays off. And it is purgatory technically, but it doesn't have to be. The audience can be like, oh, I see it as this, I see it as something different, which I think is really effective.
Nice. Jake?
Keep going. For the Sealanders, in your opening scene when she's buying the shoes, you have some perfectly timed musical cues in between lines, the ominous stuff coming in. Was that always the ideal, like when writing and stuff, or was that found in the edit where it's like, oh, this is amazing, let's throw it in?
So I believe, like we knew there were comedic moments in the timing, and a lot of that just ends up happening when you're like editing. You're like, I think that's long enough. It wasn't. We actually screened this at the Drive Line or Skyline Drive-In. There we go.
Shout out to Skyline Drive-In.
Yeah, it was really awesome seeing everything on the. Anyways, I'm digressing, but yeah, we saw it in the. We didn't have some of those musical cues there, and seeing it on the big screen like that in an almost finished state, it's all jumping out at you like, oh, yeah, okay, yes, X, Y, Z, okay, yeah, before we submit it, we gotta fix that.
Yeah.
Then we had to go back and tell our sound guy, Dan, hey, guess what, you're not done. Can you just like kind of do what you were doing with, what we had earlier, and let's put them in a couple more spots. And I feel like we got more laughs
We did,
this time
yeah.
than we, although they were all in cars last time, so it was like hard to,
Yeah, that too.
like, I think I heard some laughter from that car. over
Did
there.
they even have their radio on?
Oh,
Like, were they
yeah,
listening to
like-
something else, a different
so-
screen?
So yeah, I definitely think like adding it back in, it was definitely like one of the last things we fixed, because I was like, it's just not landing, so.
We also knew that we wanted it to be kind of one of our goofier movies and like add some humor into it this time. My mom is so good at playing like the evil store shop lady, so I was like,
That's your
that was my
mom? Oh, that's
And
awesome.
then,
I don't think I
and
knew
then
that.
our son is the big blonde
Yeah.
tall guy shopping around. Yeah. So it was kind of funny, but yeah, we knew that my mom was gonna give an excellent performance, and she's
She
goofy.
had the bitch face on,
Yeah,
like,
she was amazing.
look, I'm tired of you already. I'm trying to
Sometimes
warn
scary,
you.
right?
I
She's
know.
sometimes scary, right? It's not just me.
Yeah, she's-
And I'm like, lean into that, Celeste, lean into
yeah,
that.
you're
Do you ever catch your eye and you're like, what is she thinking? What is she thinking?
There's been times.
there are times.
Jordan, I need an email. I'm sending it directly to her.
It reminds me of like Goosebumps or like the Midnight Society with like the Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
almost
or whatever.
read it the
So
whole
when
time
like
without
when they
putting my
throw
foot
the
in
thing
my
in and then
mouth.
it comes back and then she's in the store and is like, don't forget this item is cursed. It's like reminds me of 90s Nickelodeon.
I love
There's
that.
definitely some of that in Goosebumps, maybe. I don't know.
It's like, I'm trying to warn you, forget it now, you're being an ass and you're I mean, but
You
that's what
deserve
would be,
it.
oh, I gotta answer my phone, and that it'd take me 5 minutes to dig through my purse to find it, which it's I don't even know where my phone is right now anyway. But that, yeah, I love that. We have a question back here? Brittany?
Was that the one? Oh, it was your alarm that was going off. That
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it was my medicine alarm, I think. Oh, sorry. When I was like, oh, thank you, Jake, I didn't realize that was mine. See,
So I know that we're all in the same block, but what I really like about the films, even the first film, is it's kind of the theme that I saw was that the curse starts again. So like for my film, he walks to the door and then like it's gonna start again. For yours, the curse passes on to the next person that wears it. And for yours as well, even though it's a bigger story, it's like, are you passing the curse on to your daughter? Is the curse being passed on to other?
he is the programmer. He is very happy right now that you were like we do it, and then I just, after we make selections, I'm like, okay, you go ahead and take the run, and then if I feel like we need to change something or move some films around, but there are so many blocks that he got that were just freaking perfect,
Yeah.
and this was one of them because it was that communal theme of, it's a curse, it lurks, it's always there, even if you don't know it's there, it's there.
And
Good job, babe.
And I know they're not here, but the first film I really liked that. And I don't know if anyone's seen that Bermuda Triangle movie called Triangle, where she comes in. I'm kind of giving away the end. But it's like the end of the first film I really loved, that she knocks on the window, and then it's like, then she sees herself.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the same as in my film as well, where he sees himself and you're like, the day is starting
Yeah.
again. I really, really liked. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's why we're in the same block.
The file was really cool because you think when you see the first scene that that's it, it's over, this is what happens, and then it keeps going and going in that scene where she's going through the like through the church, and it's that blood and it's that cavernous, it feels so deep and so far away and so lurking, like what else is there? Is she gonna make it through it? It was kind of a thing of despair in this block, but also some really cool, like genuinely creepy elements to it. And with the comedic, I think The Fall was the only one that didn't have a little comedy to it, but each and every story there's a little kind of ha-ha, but oh man, this is really deep and serious. So I love
all
that they
different
were
for us.
layered.
Yeah.
And I think it's when you're making films or making pilots, to not keep someone on the same plane. And I like that because especially with Burns and Song, there were so many peaks and you went up and up and then you're like, okay, this is kind of sad now. And then it goes up again. So I love the layered comedy. I love the family dynamic, and the gentleman that played
Gombe.
Gombe.
Yeah.
I love him as an actor, and we talked about this on our meeting right after. We're like, hey, have you guys seen this one? This is so great. Like it was so good, and all we want to know what's next. It's like, she can't do this. She just can't send this pilot without any follow-up. We need 2 more episodes.
I'll be back next year. Maybe it'll be like.
That's
next
right.
and yeah, you can play the whole thing as a feature, like a full feature now.
True. Brittany, did you have a question?
Yeah, it's for Tenda?
Tendayi.
Tendayi, sorry.
No, I appreciate you trying. Thank you.
So I really like how you brought us into the world of experiencing, like being haunted and stuff. I think it's really cool how when you have stories and folklore in different cultures, were you in the process of putting us in that world? Like, was that from the way you heard these stories as you grew up, or, yeah?
Your name is Brittany?
Yes.
I appreciate that question, because yes, actually. I think growing up where I grew up, like post-colonial African country, so we do come from an African spirituality as an origin, and then, missionaries came in, but the spirituality of a place never dies totally, and so I grew up with this integration of both, and you'd hear stories of, oh my God, the spirit is tormenting this woman because her great-grandmother did this thing and they need to do this ritual with her firstborn child, but the Lord saves and the Lord you can deliver you from all your and it was like, wait, which one is the right one? And as a kid, you're just watching people do intense things to break curses, and you're like, is it the Jesus way or is it this way? And so you're just, someone goes, oh, someone was talking about the previous block, them sitting in a house and them hearing voices, and sometimes I would hear or see, and you're like, wait, was that was that the wind? No, but, so it was a little bit, I was trying to be in RISIMU's head, where she is trying to find refuge in the Bible, but she's seeing these things. And then I've asked this question of, sometimes is it our mental health? Like, where's the line, basically? So that's the exploration, and throughout the series, I'm hoping to explore that. Like, is there a line? Does it matter if there isn't? Is there a way, is there space to deal with this stuff differently, whether it's through spirituality or through mental health, whatever. So I was trying to sit, definitely drawing from my own lived experience, but trying to be in her shoes. And then seeing how she's seeing things that are gonna get more intense. And then hopefully we reconcile that experience. But yeah, thanks for the question.
I think that's a perfect combination of when worlds collide. What you know, what you're being taught, then what you can absorb and feel and how you want to deal with it. Because there is that yin and yang of the traditional and the new. And I think...
Thanks so much for coming, guys.
Oh yes, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I think it's one of those things when it's the traditional way, or if you have a grandma, great-grandma, they're really immersed in a certain type of belief, and then you have kind of the newer generation, or maybe your mom feels differently, but yet you still have all of that influence from, both sides, and how do you rectify that into your daily part. But that's why I think we're so excited about seeing where this series goes, because you've got those dual elements, and you can apply that to almost anything with when there's tradition, older tradition, old versus new, and there's so many directions you can go on that. So we're really interested in seeing it. So before we wrap, can each of you go down and tell us how people can find you and keep up with what you're doing?
Sure, the best way to find me is on my social media and my website. So it's Forgotten Astronaut Productions, and then the website's forgottenastronaut.media. There's some stickers and business cards out on the table. Most other people might already know. Or just come up to me, send me a message. My name's Karl Redgen. Very easy to find on the internet.
Karl with a K.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
I'm Julie Selander. You can find us. We're usually more active on our Instagram account, No Grave Films. We also have Facebook, No Grave Films as well. I believe our personal accounts are attached to our Instagram, so you can follow us individually there as well.
Yours is Ruby Red Jewels, and
Something like
mine's
that.
like Wolfman Punk 41.
Yep.
I can be found at Tendayi Creates on Instagram. So that's TENYE Creates. Yeah, that's me.
And Burns and Song actually has its own Instagram page, because I've been tagging the heck out of it.
Nice. He sometimes sends you messages at 4 in the morning. Don't trust him.
Just depends.
So that will conclude our Q&A in this block, and this Q&A concludes the end of the 2025 Atlanta Days of the Dead Film Festival.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thanks so
It's
much
such a
for having
fantastic
us.
festival.
I appreciate you being able to come back another time. It's
We
like I never
appreciate it.
left.
I know, right? And you keep in touch with that. Oh, you were FaceTiming who the other day? I'm like, I wasn't involved. Yeah, Jake. And I'm like,
He's been
you're
very
FaceTiming.
supportive of my journey
Correct me if
here.
I'm wrong, did I see an Outer Reaches Easter egg in this film?
Oh no, okay, so what, can I answer that one last question?
Yes.
It's more than an Easter egg, it's set in the same universe. So Vast Horizons is the company that sends the ship to the alien planet, and so the CEO is like some guy who sells his soul to the devil, and that's why
I missed that.
it's supposed to be subtle, but like
catch, Jake.
the Vast Horizons logo, and then it's like this company is the startup that ends up building the ships in Outer Reaches. So
Wow,
very
okay.
the unit's all connected.
We need more of this. Like wrap that into like just like a feature. Like make one more short or 2 more shorts and just
And
wrap
then I could do it as
in.
an anthology.
Fuck yeah.
It's the Wayland Utani. There you go, right there.
So that's the idea. It's supposed to be Vast Horizons, and that's why he has that thing. And it's all the posters say Vast Horizons on it. His badge and stuff. So good pickup. I like that.
Pretty
saw that as
sneaky,
well.
bro. All right, thank you guys for being
Thank you,
here. Give
Days
this
of the Dead
crowd a round
team.
of applause.
Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much,
Days of the
guys.
Dead.
Thank you.
Good job.
I hope you had a good festival. We'll see you again next year. I don't have. I'm going to submit a script so I can just.